Whenever you're ready.
Oh my God.
Jessica! I've never been called a fox!
Dana.
That's a classy name for a Harry.
I like it classic.
Okay.
Do you?
Welcome to the Rants and Raves podcast.
Sure.
Out with the bad and in with the good, motherfuckers.
That's right.
Jessica.
Dana.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. Where's your karaoke microphone?
I didn't bring it. Welcome to the Rants and Raves podcast. I am Dana Powell.
I'm Jessica Young. And we are here
to
rant and rave.
Rave. I was just going to let you get started because you always stare at me and wait for me. And I was like, don't wait for me.
I have a real issue with like just going and getting started with something. I'm like, okay. Yep. Mm-hmm. And I'll just keep looking at you. And then Murphy's Law, the minute somebody starts talking, I do too.
Okay. Well, I cannot chastise you because when we had been texting and deciding what time we were going to do it, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to grab something to drink, go to the restroom. I'll be right there. I sat here for a minute and I was like, she hasn't sent the link yet. I wonder if everything's all right. Well, I'm the one who always sends the link. That's what a dodo I am. I was sitting here waiting for you while you were waiting for me.
I sent our shared email address, something that was meant to go directly to you. And then I sent just one portion of a much larger item that I needed to go to you to your email. So we are 0 for 3 and we are a minute and 51 seconds in. Yeah.
Can we still say, 2020? Does that still count? Oh my goodness. Jessica, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. I know that you took a really fun adventure this weekend.
I did.
Yeah.
I have to say, I feel really restored, and it came from 12 hours of being out of, the city and out of Los Angeles. And it was really magical. I went to Joshua Tree and I went there with a friend of mine. We went to do a hike and first of all, national parks, again, huge fan. Like my heart is definitely always left a part of it in Yosemite. It's one of my favorite places ever. But Joshua Tree, I've lived here for so long and only went to Joshua Tree a couple of years ago for the first time. You got to go if you've never been.
I've driven through it, but I've never spent time there.
Yeah, it's so huge and it's so quiet. You can literally hear a pin drop. You don't even hear birds until like the very end of where we ended up on our hike. You didn't even hear birds chirping. It's just, there's this quiet stillness in the desert and it's so clean. I always thought the desert was dusty and bleh. Now I kind of love it. Yeah. It just makes you, I don't know. It's such an awe-inspiring experience. Anyways, my point is, if you can, anybody, get the hell out of your house. Yes, obviously, there's limitations to that right now. But if there is somewhere that you can go to get outdoors, I cannot recommend it enough. It just happened that there was not a lot of people in the park. I don't know why. It's also a massive park, massive.
Right.
And it's a park that doesn't have any services. Like there's no stores, there is no running water. Even if you're camping there, when you have to have that prearranged, obviously, just like any other campsite, you got to be well prepared. You better bring your water and your food and all of that kind of stuff. So we went to set out I chose a moderate hike. Well, y'all, I've been rage walking for over a year. So I'm like, yeah, I can totally do moderate. And my friend takes a hike literally every day for about 2 hours. And I've done it with her. It's quite steep. She lives up in the Hollywood Hills. Anyway, this moderate hike that said 4 to 6 miles, depending on where you went, y'all, let's just say that at the end of the time I looked at my Fitbit, we were at 22,328 steps and I did almost 10 and a half miles.
Wow.
But it was absolutely incredible. I'm really sore, but I have to say I'm really proud of myself that, first of all, it wasn't a matter of just pushing through. You don't really have a choice. You're up there and it's like, well, we're just going to keep walking and hope that this works out.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of trail markers. If you can get out of your house and go somewhere outside where there's really not a lot of people, that was key to just enjoy being in nature somewhere. I can't recommend it enough. I really needed to do that, and it did my soul a lot of good. I feel 100 times better than I did before I went there.
Well, that is wonderful. I'm going to say something controversial.
Yes.
I think Joshua trees are ugly.
Oh my God.
I do. I've tried to see their beauty. Now, they're unique and
Oh.
kind of cool, but once I see a couple, I'm done with it. And also,
Then you're not going to the park.
mhm. And then also, my kid keeps saying he wants to go camping in the forest. And I keep telling him, oh, mommy doesn't do that. I do. I'm like, you're going to have to tell your daddy. Your daddy has gone camping. Mommy doesn't do anything. Like, it's got to be some pretty fancy glamping before you're getting my
Mhm.
butt out to somewhere. Because
You
I
want
have
to
a
go.
comfy bed. Why would I leave my comfy bed to go sleep out in the cold on a hard and pee pee in a bucket? Nah. And then on top of it, have to look at those Joshua trees everywhere. Mm-mm.
Why did I just picture you like Shelley Long in Troop Beverly Hills when it starts raining and she just can't fathom it? She's already out in the wilderness with the girls, the wilderness girls after all. And they end up around a fire. I'm putting my hand in quotation marks, a fire. And by fire, I mean fireplace in a bungalow at the Beverly Hills Hotel.
There we go. That's my kind of camping. That is my
Oh
who's
my
bringing the champagne and strawberries and when
God.
will it be here?
Hilarious. Do you know
Yeah.
what I think might be a compromise? Now, I don't know if this specific place is A for couples only. Like some places don't allow kids. It's not because it's like some sex club. It's just not a resort really for children. But there's a place in Santa Barbara. I think it's either called El Capitan or it's at the El Capitan Beach, and it's real glamping. Like looks like a Ralph Lauren ad, right? Those gorgeous heavy canvas tents, but like with
Yeah.
a gorgeous, huge king size bed, and the room is beautifully appointed. Like,
Oh, yes.
and it's right off the beach. I mean,
That's
that,
what I want.
yeah,
That's what I want.
yeah.
Are there's heaters in there?
You know what? I
There is.
don't know.
Yeah, there is. There will be. Not interested in
Uh,
any other kind of camping.
Hilarious. That's so interesting, especially because you've become such a plantophile. That's not a real word. I don't know what that even means, but
I've become a pandemic plant parent.
I love the Joshua trees, and I actually took like a million pictures because they are all very unique. That's another thing that's fascinating to me. It's not like if you go
Yeah, you
into a
sent me.
forest of Douglas firs and they all look like the same Douglas fir. Some of them
Yeah,
have one poof, some of them have 20 poofs an arm. It's just, and they
yeah, it's
only
not
grow there. It's the only place in the world they grow.
in the world.
Yes.
I guess I should appreciate it more, but
You
it's
two wrote an album there and named it after it.
okay. Well, to get more controversial, I'm not a huge U2 fan.
We interrupt this broadcast for a very important message. What?
I will say though, I did go to the last U2 concert only because you're gonna get so mad.
I am because I've never seen them live.
Oh,
Now,
maybe I
granted, I
should
don't like
finish
their
the
modern
story.
stuff, but go on, go on.
Well, Dan Tipton worked on LA to Vegas, and
Yes.
the type of screens that they were using, which put out a live feed of the airport
Hmm,
because it was
hmm.
an airplane based
Yes.
show, was the same kind of screens. They also built screens for U2 for their tour. So those big light up screens, their Joshua Tree thing
Yeah.
and all of that. And so they gave Dan Tipton really good seats.
And
And
you
I
really
said,
just could have cared less. Is that what you're
well,
trying to say, Dana?
no. I
You
said,
wish it had been tickets to Blake Shelton?
yes, definitely. But I said to him, I recognize that they are an iconic band
Okay.
from our time. I am not a huge fan of their music, but I will go and appreciate it. And I did. And I had a great time. But if you are a U2 lover, like fan, then probably you should be mad at me because I was probably a wasted seat. But it was very cool.
I loved them through like Achtung Baby, and then I was kind of done. I don't love the music they've made in the last 15 or more 20 years.
Yeah, but I
But I
could
love
watch I
so
could
much of what they've made. There's certain songs by that are like always gonna just
I
they
still
really
can't get that
squeeze your
album
heart.
off my iPhone. The one that they just put on all our iPhones. I
Yeah,
still
that's
can't get it off.
hilarious.
I can't
As
get
you
it.
know, Aunt Jessica doesn't have an iPhone. She has a
Right.
Droid, so she did not get the pleasure of having that album. I know.
Pleasure. I skip them every time.
It's
Wolf, what? What
hilarious.
is this song, Wolf? No, no, I'm
I
not into
also
it.
know I know you love your Bruno Mars, and I thought of you because
I do.
someone sent me a video of like a nursing home and they were doing a class with the residents and they had like these giant, it almost looked like exercise balls. You know, those yoga, but what they're not a yoga ball, the balls you can sit on for like
Yes,
to help your core or
exercise.
whatever. So they had them hitting drumsticks onto those balls. I don't know why they
Yes,
couldn't have just given them real drums. They're adults, not children,
might
but
hurt
they
their
were
ears. Maybe.
drumming
Yeah, I
to
saw that.
Uptown Funk. Oh, you
Yeah,
did?
I love it.
How was
I
your
love it.
week, Dana?
Good. I realized I'm nesting, which I think is progress for me instead
Mhm.
of like just manically cleaning. I'm actually like investing time into my home and decor,
Nice.
which I have not done since I had a baby, since
That's
preparing for a baby.
amazing.
So it's felt good. I've been enjoying it. It's also a challenge to do that and be happy with it without spending a lot of money because we're in a pandemic.
Yeah.
But I think I've risen to the challenge. I made some terrariums.
That are fantastic.
I'm kind of in love with them. I'm low key obsessed, really.
They're quite
So,
magical, and I don't mean that in
well,
like a cheesy way. They're real magical, and they're
thank you.
for adults. Well, they could be for kids too. What the hell am I
Yeah, I
saying?
guess they could be, but probably more adults would like them. I harvested my own moss from my yard,
That's
which
awesome.
I don't know why I think that's so cool, but I do. And it's got
I
a
do.
four level filtration system inside. So
Mhm.
I've got, built it correctly.
Yep.
And then a couple of dwarf ferns, some ground cover
Yes.
pallets I bought for $2.99. I just separated the little pockets and made them into their own little individual plants.
Fantastic.
And then I added vintage toys from our generation. They're Dan Tipton's toys. I have
I
a Lone
love it.
Ranger on his horse in
So
one.
cool.
I have some MASH toys and some other plants around the house.
So wait, the MASH toys were Dan's?
Yeah,
That is so funny because my
there's an
mom
entire set.
loved MASH. My
Yeah, we
mom
always
loved
watch it.
MASH so much, but I wasn't into it.
No, but we had to watch it because back then in our time,
Yes,
you only had one TV.
correct. And that was like a diehard show for our parents' generation.
Yeah,
My mom cried the way that I cried on the last episode of some of the shows that I've loved over the years. My mom cried when MASH ended on the last
ended. It
episode.
was a sad ending. It
Mhm.
was I remember it. I really, really remember it affecting me. And I
And the
also had
music.
I also had some idea that it was much more meaningful on a broader level too, that my
Mhm.
dad had been in Vietnam and stuff like
Of
that. You know
course.
what I mean?
Yep.
So anyway, but it is a fun little thing to throw into my terrariums. And with the Lone Ranger set is a horse carriage and like
What?
bird wagon and
Oh,
all of
heck
these.
yeah.
But it's really crazy that like cultural appropriation and insensitivity for
Mm.
like the Native Americans. I pulled this out because I was like, do I make a QAnon terrarium? Like what's going on?
Oh,
If
boy.
this is not Jake Angelini with
Okay,
the horn.
well, I'm about to fall out of my chair right now.
Yeah.
That's I
Yeah. So anyway, and Dan, when I put the Lone Ranger in the
God, I'm
one
freaking out, Dave.
I know.
I'm
I put the Lone
freaking out.
Ranger in on his horse. I went ahead and put him on his horse and put him in. And Dan goes, "Oh, his guns are broken though, honey." And I was like, "Good. I don't like guns." So he's just got his fists in the air. Their guns are broken.
Yes. Good.
I'm like, "It's modern."
Yes.
Listen, if you own guns, that's your thing. I am not a fan. I grew up around them. I've been trained for television shows on them, and I do not like them. I just don't. So, so I'm happy with my broken Lone Ranger.
Indeed. I love it. Fists in air. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. So anyway, that's pretty much been my week. Just a little bit of nesting, trying not to drive everyone around me, my son and my pets crazy. Like I think even my pets are over me. Like they're just like, okay, stop taking pictures. Are you gonna rub my belly or say, look at the camera? But I was saying to you though, and I was saying this to my friend I saw today outside, socially distanced, all that good stuff.
Mhm.
I am a completely different human than I was a year ago.
Yeah, and I'm
I
not saying
mean,
yeah to you. Yeah,
the way I operate, I have stopped looking at a screen by 11 o'clock.
that's amazing.
It doesn't mean I'm going to go to bed early
I'm
necessarily.
jealous of that.
I just made a rule at 11 o'clock because I remember I told you I saw that TikTok. The guy said your brain like
Yep.
releasing serotonin and oxytocin and melatonin and all of that. So I've been doing it for about a week. And I'll tell you what, I'm trying to be easy on myself and still make positive changes. So if I don't look at a screen past 11, but I can stay up past 11 if I want, but I have to listen to a podcast. I can't look at a screen. And then when I get up in the morning, because I have to get up really early to get
Yes,
Henry ready and get him
of
his
course.
breakfast and all that. And then sometimes if I have an audition, I don't have anyone to help me
Right?
except Dan Tipton. And so when I have a self tape, I get up at 4:30 in the morning and get dressed and put on my makeup and do myself. And
So
then all I
early.
want all I want to do is go back to bed, right?
Yes.
But then I sleep all day and I get nothing done. And then when my son's here, I'm busy doing dishes or whatever instead of spending time with him. So I've tried to say, okay, if you need to lay back down for an hour, you can, but then you have to get up and start your day and do your things for you before your child gets home.
Mhm.
Or I'll say, you can't go back to bed, period.
Right.
So what I've noticed is when I give myself permission to lay down, I'll also, my other new thing that I'm doing that I've never done in my life, and it's because of my plans.
Right.
When I get up in the morning, I immediately open all the shades.
Yep.
So it's bright, right?
Yep.
And I tell myself, you can lay down, but you are
Mhm.
not allowed to put your sleep mask on.
Right.
So because I'll sleep till
Totally.
2, and
Mhm.
so when I do that and I give myself permission and I'm not busy like beating myself up internally, I oftentimes don't fall asleep and I'll go, okay, well, I just want to get up,
Yep.
you know? And so I'm getting so much more accomplished and getting out of this like depressive funk by just making those little changes and
Yeah.
rules for myself. And
Mhm.
the plants make me happy as soon as I wake up in the morning because I know I'm going to watch my little praying plant go from praying to like praising.
Mhm. That's
She
awesome.
opens up and those things just kind of get me going for the day instead
Yeah.
of laying in bed watching, Bridgerton again. So anyway, I also, and we've talked about this multiple times, I'm feeling it real heavy again that I might need to stop eating meat.
Mm.
And I was talking about that today when I saw my friend. And then as I was driving away, the stop sign at the end of the street had a sticker on it. And
Mhm.
so the sign said stop, and underneath it said eating animals. And I was
Oh,
like,
snap.
come on. I know I live in California, but I was literally just talking about this. Like, who's Instagramming my life and sending me advertisements? Right. But I was like, normally I wouldn't notice something like that because I was like, that doesn't apply to me. I love bacon, oink, oink. But it's really weighing heavily on me, and I've always been a person that I feel like your own personal convictions, my convictions are gonna be different than yours,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
So if you believe cussing is horrible, I'm like, I don't feel that much guilt about it, but I feel guilt about eating animals. So you don't cuss, I won't eat animals, and
Mhm.
then maybe we'll both be better people. Right? So
Yes.
because I have that conviction about it, I've started talking more and more about it. I bring it up a few times a week. And
Mhm.
finally this weekend I was talking to Dan and he was like, "You talk about it a lot, honey." He was like, "You don't have to say this is forever."
Right.
And he was like, "And maybe once a year you have something." Because the last time I had a steak, towards the end of my meal, I started being like, oh man, I just want to hug this cow. So when
Mhm.
I say I am not the same human I was a year ago, like I'm not kidding, down to the to the very fiber of who I am.
Mhm.
I'm like, I get up in the morning. What? I go to bed at night. What? And maybe I'm not going to eat meat. Oh boy, I don't know. It's so
Also,
weird.
I think you just raised a very great point, several of them, in fact, but he's right also in that just start not having it, right? Even if it's that I don't know how much of it you were having every day,
Yeah.
anyways, but
That's the thing. I really don't eat that much meat anymore. I
right?
kind of scaled it back to once in a while, I would have a
Hmm.
deli sandwich because I make
Hmm.
that for my kid for lunch. You know what I mean?
Right.
But even that now, chicken and turkey is starting to bother me. Before, I was like, well, what if I just stop with beef
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
pork? Maybe I'll feel better. But now chicken and turkey is starting to make me feel bad. And so,
You don't have to put a I think you know what? I think with so many things in life, people will, like, fail because they're like, "Oh, I don't do this anymore," or, "I know I" how many times did I say, "I'm gonna quit smoking," or, "I quit
yeah,
smoking," and then I was smoking again 2 days later or a week later or even a month later, you know? It's like, I'm just gonna not do it anymore, and then, let's see what happens, right?
yeah.
And here I'm
Well,
not doing it anymore.
anymore at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say since I've moved to California, from what the meat I used to consume when I was young and lived in the Midwest,
Night and
I
day.
oh my god, a fraction, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And I'm like, "Well, then I really don't have that far to go," and actually Dan Tipton pointed that out. He was like, "Honey, to be honest, you really don't eat meat anyway. Like, if you wanna go ahead and say, 'I'm gonna try not to,' then maybe it's time." He's like,
Yep.
"You really don't have that much to cut out." And I said, "Well, I'm also not one of these people that's gonna be posting that I'm vegetarian and meal prepping and all of that. Like, I'm not shoving it. It's not about anyone else or how good I am. It's about what I'm feeling in my
Yeah,
heart right now. And
totally.
maybe that'll change in 5 years. I don't know, but right now I'm
Yep.
trying to ease myself into saying, "Okay, I need to get healthier anyway." It's not meat that is my problem with overeating. It's sugar. That's my issue. Sugar and snackies. Ooh, give me some grazing time? So I think I may make that choice for myself. I'm gonna
Mhm,
try and see how it goes. But I said to you, I'm a completely different human being, but I
mhm.
think I kinda like me. I think I kinda like who I'm still weird. I'm still
Yes.
you
Oh,
know what
I
I
like you very much, and I know a whole hell of a lot of people that do too.
And I'm also allowing myself not to be happy every day if I don't want to. Like I
Yep.
have because my friend we were talking about the affirmation app that I have, I talked
Mhm.
about that on the show that I am. He was like, "Yeah, I just read this article though." I was like, "Oh, about toxic positivity and stuff." Because some people don't like things fake it till you make it or things
Right.
like that. And I do understand what they're saying. That I do believe in toxic positivity. I think it
Yeah.
can affect you poorly.
Yep.
But I have noticed for me, the way I've got my app set up and what the kinds of things that it tells me, I actually get excited when I hear it go off. It has a specific ringtone,
Mhm.
and I have it go off 5 times a day, and I catch myself smile when I hear it because 'cause I'm
Hmm.
excited to see what it's gonna say to me, and
Yeah.
sometimes I roll my eyes and go, "That's not happening today." But that even in itself makes me
Yes.
giggle,
Hilarious,
so
exactly.
anyway, whatever. I guess we should move on. We're 25 minutes in, but my rant is very short. Don't worry, guys. Please stick around.
Uh, Well,
Uh,
roll on into that rant.
I'm gonna go ahead and go into the rant. It is from me. I did very late one night a week and a half ago, right before I started saying no more screens.
Mhm.
I had to email Jessica and say, I have to talk about this on the show because I can't be the only person. Okay. So, what I want to rant about today is Zoom arms. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to scar you. When we are generally
Uh,
communicating with other human beings, they are either at our eye level or just above or just below, right?
mhm,
Like if I'm
mhm.
sitting at a table with you, our heads are about the
Yeah.
same height. When you are on a Zoom, your camera, which is the other person's eyes for you,
Hmm.
is at the level of your armpits. So I've noticed this all along, but when I was like, no, I have to talk about Zoom arms, is when you and we were special guests on our friend Douglas Ryan's game show, Sight Unseen. We did very poorly.
Which is out
Uh,
now, you guys, where we
oh,
we posted a link to it, or the link is
yay!
in their bio, but I'll post a link to it on our
It's a
page.
very
It's in
fun
our
game
story.
show. You have to try and guess. And Jessica and David are very smart, and I'm not. So that you get a lot of laughs out of that. But
No.
anyway,
No.
it was very, very fun and silly. But I noticed at one point, because he uses the same service we do, but he uses video, right? So you can see all of us on
Oh,
the thing. And
yeah.
I reached forward to point at something out my window, and I'll do it for you, Jessica, because we don't show video. And all I saw was that. I was like,
I did
what
not
is
see
going
that.
on under my armpits? There is a monarch, but I am turning into a monarch butterfly, or a stingray has snuck up beside me who I have fish to feed it. Because these flaps.
You are crazy. I did not notice that, not even once. I wasn't like, "Oh, girl, I wish
Oh, I
we
almost
could
said
see
out
this
loud,
test.
"Oh,
Put your
girl."
arms down." It was not
I
like
almost
that.
said out loud in the moment, "Oh, girl." I put my arm down immediately. Like, how I don't have black eyes from the flaps of my arms smacking my eye sockets as I flail around to try and communicate better.
No.
I do not know. You know what? Shame on you, computers. Why don't you have telescope cameras where we can shoot ourselves from above like all good women do?
Agreed.
Even when I look at myself in the mirror, my eyeballs aren't at arm flap level. It's infuriating. It's awful. And it made me want to slice half of my bottom arms off. I'm
It
sorry. I just had to rant about it.
You need to start having more abrupt movements, and that'll help, like a lot of pointing. I like to point a lot when I'm talking and when we're on Zoom, like to make sure, hey, are you looking
Yes,
at me? I'm talking
but
to
what do
you.
I always say to you? Stop pointing at
I
me.
know.
It's so much more aggressive than my
So aggressive.
that lady's crazy. I feel like the type of arm movements and communications with my hands and stuff that I use might be equivalent to like that crazy woman on the street who has a shopping cart and a hairbrush always.
Oh.
But like that's who I am, probably, right?
Yes.
So I'm using my hands right now, and I'm trying to fit them into the camera lens. Like I won't gesticulate off screen. I mean, this pandemic is messing us up. Have you not had a Zoom arm problem?
No, because I point. You see how tight this point is? It
Yeah.
doesn't allow me. There's no pointing up
You
here.
No, you
You
had
wouldn't
some
see I'm
elbow
pointing. I
tucking,
could be flicking you off right now and you wouldn't
and
know
I
it.
wouldn't know.
Or anything else. The point is very direct. It's very tight. And look at how angry and aggressive it is. It's not okay.
Yeah, it was definitely there was like
Actually, not okay.
maybe if you subtract the teeth gnashing. I know you
Oh
guys
my
can't see us, but imagine Jessica's face with downturned brows talking through her teeth like this while she points at you.
uh,
Anyway, that's my short and very, we like to rant about things that help us still feel normal,
yes.
but we know there are much larger problems in the world. Am I going to suffer in any way from having Zoom arms?
Uh,
I mean, probably not. Do I now know that if we need to leave Los Angeles, everyone can get on my back and I can fly us wherever we need to be?
Now, I'm going to tell you before this rant closes something that I noticed. I have some tops that look cute as can be from head on. You
Mhm.
know what's not cute? When I caught myself in a mirror or a window, like when I used to do
Mhm.
window dressing, hanging it, and I'm like, oh my God. And everybody that would walk by would always look at me in the window. And I
Yeah.
realize it's open from here to under my breast. So you're seeing all of the inner upper arm, the armpit
Yeah.
down to the breast. Not okay. It's like
No.
gaping hole. So I have shirts now where I turn to the side and I lift up my arm and I'm like, nope, not wearing this
Yeah.
out of the
Oh,
house.
yeah, that's me too. Yeah, for
And it's
sure.
not
I've
because
been
they're
known.
stretched out. It's the
No,
damn design.
it's the cut. I have been known to hand sew those together.
Oh, why didn't I
Yeah.
ever think of that?
I
P.S.
can't do it. I can't handle it. I don't want that out there.
Why have I never thought of that?
I'm not sure. I have to, because I'm short and I have ginormous boobs and I'm not a size 0, I don't have sewing skills, but I have learned how to alter my clothing for my own body, like t-shirts, things like that.
Hand sewing with
Yeah.
a needle and
Yeah.
thread. Oh,
Mhm.
wow. I mean, I can do
Yeah.
that. It's not going to be pretty, but
No.
yes, I
But you
mean,
are inspecting your clothing with a magnifying glass.
exactly.
I
Especially
mean,
not under
besides,
your arms, I
I was
hope.
gonna say, because if somebody goes under my arm with a magnifying glass right now, there's a forest. I make myself sound so lovely on this podcast. Also, I just got so excited. I'm glad I remembered this.
What?
Speaking of pits, remember how I told y'all I was so stinky last week? Well,
Oh,
not
you did
stinky
the
last
wash?
week, stinky all the time, but I talked about it last week. One of our listeners, one of our OG faves, Sweet and Salty Stitches, y'all check her out. Anyway, she
Mhm.
sent us a message and said, "I'm not even joking. Use acne soap under your armpits. It kills
Mhm.
bacteria." Not a joke, Jessica. That I used it that day when she sent us the message.
Mhm.
Didn't smell all day. Used it the 2 days after when I took a shower because I had to. And used it then and forgot to put on deodorant, did not smell the entire day. Okay, we're talking, it was at a point where I was like, "What do you mean I smell? I put on deodorant this morning. Jeez, a Lou," right? I'm telling you it worked because I said, "Is my body chemistry changing?" I mean, let's be honest, probably I'm just not showering as frequently as I used to. My husband's so lucky.
Oh my god.
But it really did work.
Amazing. See, I still haven't used it because I hate the smell of that salicylic acid shit I got with witch
Oh,
hazel and lemon. It smells god awful,
witch
okay?
hazel also is not the most pleasant smell
Ugh,
in the first place, but
no, it's
I'll tell you
not.
what, now today what I used when I showered was a charcoal acne soap, like a bar
Mhm.
soap that I
Mhm.
sometimes use on my body,
Mhm.
and I used that under my we'll see if that does the same thing, I'm not sure.
Mhm.
I don't stink right now,
Great.
but I would say I feel moist. We should move on to your rant before I absolutely ruin any chances of me having friends, family, or a career.
Oh my god. So I had taken a bunch of stuff. We replaced our fridge. Our neighbor moved and gave us her fridge, which was
Oh,
bigger and
nice.
nicer than ours. Yeah, they're both old fridges, but again, it was
Still,
better than the one that we had. So we were
I
like,
have a
yes, thank
super old
you.
fridge. Yeah, if
It,
it works, it works.
oh, God, exactly. The only thing is, and this is not a complaint, but it does whistle
Oh,
like almost like one of the seven dwarfs. Like after you close the door, it's like the pipes in the back, the coils make this. I love how I just made it sound like they were a harmonizing
it sounded
barbershop
lovely.
trio.
I was like, I want a singing fridge.
Ah!
Maybe it can sing, "Don't Eat That, Dana."
So we took we took stuff off the fridge. Like all I have up there really is some of my friends' kids' art, right? That they've sent me. And I'm
Yeah,
like, oh my God, that's so cute. And I put
I
it
love
on
it.
the fridge.
Yes.
So it was that and my magnet collection. No, I don't collect magnets, but I have like 20 of them and they're pretty fun.
That's a collection. I hate to tell you, that's a collection. 20
But
magnets.
but it's not like I sought out to do that. You understand? Like I would see something and I'm like, oh, I'm getting this. Or I've been
Right.
given magnets, right? Like I still have my Don't Mess with Texas that Ronnie Karam gave me. I will never be getting rid of that baby.
Love it. Love it.
So one of the things I found was this drawing that I showed to you that is
So
absolutely
cute.
hilarious. It's Alan, my husband's best friend, was out here with her daughter a couple of years ago, and Alan met them at Universal City, and she did a drawing on the back of a menu. I didn't even realize that. We're going to get to my rant, but she did this drawing of the two of them doing a thumb war. It's hilarious, and she
So
drew
cute.
Alan with a tie and a vest, almost like some, steampunk hipster with like these jeans with bottom pleats or scrunchy socks and high heeled boots. Anyway,
It's so funny.
it's so
And the
weird and
cutest
hilarious.
tie ever.
Double angry, downturned eyebrows. I was
Very
going to say,
angry eyebrows, very
when you
pronounced.
yes, when you said that I had downturned eyebrows, I'm like, well, if that isn't a segue to this rant, I don't know what is. So anyways, I have been continuing to purge all this crap because I do hold on to everything. I'm very sentimental and I have
Me too.
attachments and I'm trying to be like, I don't need that. I don't need it. So I turned this drawing over, which I had never done, because I'm like, what the hell is this? It's a menu to the Hard Rock Cafe, the kids menu. And
Yeah.
I just would like to go through the names of several of these because I'm not okay with it. Okay.
Okay.
This is for
I can
children.
I am on the internet with you, and I can feel you building up. Like, I feel tension building up to this. I can't wait. Okay.
This is for children. So just again, Aunt Jessica is getting her prude hat on, her
Okay.
prude bonnet, because here are the headliners. Buddy Jr.'s bangin' burger with cheese. I mean, okay. I mean, I'm not trying to go too far with the first one, but you'll see where I'm going with this. The next one, ain't nothing but a hot dog.
What?
That's a Snoop song. Ain't nothing but a hot dog, bye. 2 buns and a wiener going crazy.
I'm sorry, what? It's a G thing.
I know. But why did they name a children's dish after a Snoop song? Ain't nothing but a hot dog.
I don't know.
I mean, do you agree? I don't think they just.
Yeah. No.
It's clearly it's Hard Rock Cafe. It's after music, right?
Like, who are you advertising to? The parents or the kids?
This one it sounds like it's from Guy Fieri, who I didn't know was a musician. I'm joking, obviously. Razzie's Redonkulous chicken tenders. I don't need a kid eating anything that's redonkulous, okay?
Okay.
Styler's Mac Daddy, mac and cheese. Shut up. And I hate when anyone calls someone daddy unless it's a child speaking to their father, okay?
Daddy. Yeah, no.
I'm sorry. Skiddly's Not So Diddly chicken breast.
What is that? What is
I
that
don't know, but I don't like
Because when I
diddly.
think of diddling,
Yes.
it's not food related.
Correct. Okay, you're getting on the train. You have
Adult.
boarded the train and
It's
you better hold
very
on.
fingery. Okay, continue.
I mean, that's really it. There's nothing else earth-shot. You know, the twisted and tasty cavatappi pasta is not nearly as offensive. But I just was like, ew, no. And then I'm like,
also, everybody knows kids just like mac and cheese or something. Like, you don't have to pizzazz it up.
or call it something
They don't care
stupid.
about the name. You could call it wadded up gum. And if it was macaroni and cheese, they'd still eat it. You'd be like, you want some wadded gum? They'd be like, yes, please, more. Okay.
Oh
Why do
my
you have
God.
to jazz up the names and make them all extreme and sassy? Like what, like a child is going to go, normally, I would never partake of macaroni and cheese.
You know who was king with jazzing up names? I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier. TGI Fridays.
Ugh.
The one that sticks out to me the most, because I remember like I would beg my parents to let me get it if we went to Fridays, like in the 80s. The Oreo Speedwagon. That was a
No,
milkshake. Yes.
I don't like those plays on things, those puns on things. It's
The
very
Oreo Speedwagon.
uh-uh.
So stupid. And that wasn't a Hard Rock Cafe. Fridays didn't need add music bands.
No, no, nobody.
So stupid.
If I am at your establishment to eat food, you probably don't have to push it that hard anyway. What else am I doing there?
I know. I know.
Also, like, what was the razzmatazz? What was that?
Oh my God. That was Razzie's Redonkulous chicken
Redonkulous.
tenders.
Razzies. It's like an extreme version of cats, but with chicken tenders.
This also makes me furious. Hand-breaded chicken tenderloins. Tenderloins, my foot. Fried golden brown served with a choice of a sidekick.
What's a sidekick?
Can you say with your choice of fries or slaw? Okay, how about
Or
something
just
like
your
that?
choice of a side. Why does it need to be a sidekick?
I'm looking
What
for
message
side.
are they trying
Oh,
to convey?
here's the sidekicks. Fresh fruit. Oh yeah, every kid's picking that.
Mhm.
Seasonal vegetables.
Mhm. Mhm.
Fries or mashed potatoes.
I don't. Okay,
Served with a
let me
choice of
ask
a
you,
sidekick. That makes me furious.
Jessica,
Yes.
if you were Hard Rock Cafe and
Yes.
you wanted me as a child to eat carrots, what would you call them?
Oh my God.
I mean, honestly, I don't like that diddle one. If you're trying to get me to eat green beans, don't be like,
Mm.
don't, you know what I mean? I'm trying to think of a good example. It's
Maybe
just like,
I would have them shown as a band, like 4 or 5 of them, and call them the Beta Carrot Teens.
and how would I order that? And can I have a sidekick of beta carrot teens, please?
Uh-huh.
That's a real mouthful. I couldn't get through it.
Can't you picture the Beta Carrot Teens with a hyphen? Teen,
Unfortunately.
Teens.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you guys, for dessert, let's have some Lucy lima beans. Get loose.
For dessert? How dare you?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. They're pushing these vegetables real hard with fancy names.
Ew. It's like that stupid brownie flavored hummus
Yeah,
that
I
we
still haven't tried
discussed.
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. Well, you know what? I wouldn't suggest it.
I don't think I ever will. It sounds
You
gross.
don't need to. You do not need to.
But at least they're not like fresh baked, fluffy, moist hummus. I'm not good at making up extreme names.
Oh my God.
I was trying to make it sound exciting.
Keep the sidekicks to yourself.
I thought you were gonna say keep your day job, and I was gonna be like, I don't have one. I need one. What do you got?
Oh boy. I think we need a cleansing breath.
Oh, we need a cleansing breath really bad. Every week on the show, guys, we like to kind of rant about the silly things that annoy us.
The important things in life, like skiddly, not so diddly chicken breasts.
And this. That's my arms for you guys. We like to rant that out, take a cleansing breath, and then fill up with goodness. If you want to scream it out with us, you can. But please do. Just take this quick breath. I swear you'll feel just a little bit better.
Yes.
Let's take a deep breath then. And
Mine always has this need to audibly be like, "Ugh," and let out this no, because I'm letting out that exaltation so that you don't hear my Darth Vader exhale.
You don't sound like Darth
Yes,
Vader.
I do.
I'm going to punch you. No, you don't. I will punch you in your throat, and then you will sound like Darth Vader. Oh boy, I guess we need to redo that cleansing. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so it's time for corners, right?
Yes.
And I'm up first, is that right?
Mhm.
Okay. Now, I read this and I have issues with the new corner name.
Is it inappropriate? Because I almost pulled up the song and then I thought, don't overdo it, lady.
Well, I don't know that it's that inappropriate. Here's what I'll say. The way that we misinterpreted diddling, I feel like someone might misinterpret
Yeah,
when I say,
I know. It's not
"Hey guys,
appropriate.
I got a hot for teacher corner."
I got it made so bad. I'm up for teacher. I think of all the education that I missed, but then my homework was never quite like this.
This man did such a wonderful thing.
It's not. Okay, you guys, I'm losing my mind.
It's such a lovely story. You made it dirty.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's such a good story. And you named it Hot for Teacher. Here's the headline. High school principal works night shift at Walmart and donates paycheck to students in need.
Bless him.
Oh, sexy.
Oh my god. He takes off his blazer to put on that vest. Oh yeah.
That's not what the story's about.
I
He
know.
didn't start an OnlyFans. He didn't start an OnlyFans account. I can't breathe. Okay. This was in North Charleston, South Carolina.
Crying.
Moved
One
by
of
a
my
need
favorite cities in the country. Shout out to Charleston, the school that broke my heart. It was my number one choice for university, and I didn't get in.
Well, I bet you weren't hot for any of those teachers. Moved by a need to help his students, a South Carolina high school principal took on a part-time job at Walmart and donated his paycheck to those in need. Henry Darby, principal at North Charleston High School, is considered his community's guardian angel. Quote,
Hmm.
a couple of years ago, I had two students who were females sleeping under the bridge. There was another situation where a former student of mine and her daughter were sleeping in their car, and another situation where a former student needed funds for her water and light bills. Understanding the bigger picture, Darby took action. He started working at Walmart 3 nights a week, stocking shelves from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. I was taught if your hands find something to do, do it. So I came to myself and said, perhaps I need another job in terms of part-time, he said.
Hmm.
He said one of his students recognized him on his very first night of work. Someone yelled, "Hey, Mr. Darby, you're working for Walmart? Aren't you the principal?" And it blew me out of the water. So at the time I said, that's it. I'll just do what I need, he said. His decision to stand and deliver has led to close to $100,000 in donations from all over the country. Now that Darby's story has gone viral, which it has, I mean, it's all over Magically News, Upworthy, I mean, everywhere, as it should be. Now that Darby's story has gone viral, Walmart has donated $50,000 to North Charleston High School. It's such, for real, a beautiful story. I'm
Awesome.
sorry that I couldn't stop laughing at the top, but it's only because you named this corner hot for teacher.
And it was me because I do love those puns, and I'd always used to try to come up with names like that when I wrote a blog and stuff. But yes, it really came from a place of love because I'm like,
I
I
know.
every time I hear stories about a teacher or like there was also a principal, I feel like it was in Baltimore, it was somewhere on the East Coast, who set up a barber shop.
Yes,
I
we
swear
covered
we talked
that.
about it a year
Yes,
or so ago.
I think we did, yeah.
These teachers or administrators doing stuff on their own dime, on their own time to truly, truly
Help,
give these children a friend, a mentor, a confidant, anything. It's
absolutely,
incredible. So,
absolutely.
of course, I'm like, hot for teacher, like, yeah, da, 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 like thinking I'm like an old timey man from the 20s, but instead I'm a pervert from a 1980s Van Halen video. Remember those headshots from the 80s? You guys, even if you're never had headshots, you know what we're talking about. It's like women would have their glasses down on the bridge of their nose looking at them. It would be
Oh, as
like
a character shot?
librarian, like she'd
Yes,
have her glasses in her mouth and there'd be like a
yes,
bun that you pulled out and shook your hair down.
right. Or somebody crawling out of a dryer. "Oh, she's hilarious, let's cast her."
Uh-huh.
That kind,
She
yes.
must be a wacky housekeeper.
Yes, but in our situation, you had hot for teacher.
I mean,
I just couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. It made me laugh, but that is such a wonderful story, and, like, that's an educator really dedicated to improving the lives of his students in their
oh my God,
lives.
yes.
So beautiful, so amazing. I love that Walmart kicked in with them. You know, Walmart's not my
Yes.
favorite,
Or
but,
not mine.
but that is nice that they kicked in,
Mhm.
$50,000 to the high school on top of the 100,000 in donations, I believe.
Mhm.
So anyway, really, really beautiful story. I love it.
Love it. Thank you, Dana.
Thank you, Jessica.
This is what the what?
Yeah.
And I really kept trying to like cut this down. I'm definitely not reading all of this because there's like too much. It's too intricate. And you know what? When it happens, we can all rejoice. But it always struck me. I'm always excited with anything dealing with the ocean because I truly, my entire life, have been obsessed with anything dealing with the sea and the life within it. I wanted to be a marine biologist. I still do. It's not ever going to happen, but I'm fascinated by things that are found from anything on Earth, right? From
Mhm.
plants, the things that are found in the rainforest, and things that are found in the ocean that we just, again, have barely scratched the surface of.
Oh, for sure.
An extract from a rare undersea creature will soon be put to the test in clinical trials after initial studies showed effectiveness in stopping COVID 19 infections, according to a pharmaceutical company and a California based researcher who has been studying it. By the way, just so you don't think this is from I Don't Exist News, this was from NBC Los Angeles, for
Oh,
whatever
cool.
it's worth. It's a little crazy when you think about where this drug has come from, said Navon Krogan, PhD and co-author of the promising study published this week and director of the Quantitative Biosciences Institute at UC San Francisco, half a world away from the home of the drug's source, a type of sea squirt, Aplidium albicans. It is found only in the Mediterranean Sea and the waters around the island of Ibiza off the coast of Spain.
Wow.
Yeah. The extract, known as alpidin or paletipsin, was actually discovered several years ago by a Spanish pharmaceutical, Faramar, which specializes in exploring marine resources for potential therapeutics. Before COVID-19 emerged, alpidin won approval as a treatment for a rare form of cancer.
Oh.
So again, I'm not an expert. I'm going to paraphrase some more in this article, but there are things that go on that sometimes aren't allowed in the US because they're not making people money, right? In the name of like, if there's things that they can find from this sea squirt, I mean, we'll put a picture up. It looks like some kind of weird, and I can't even explain what it looks like. It says in human cells, it was 30 times more potent than remdesivir, which is a standard form of treatment right now. So how on earth did a sea squirt get enlisted into the struggle to rein in the worst pandemic? Due to a methodical approach with Dr. Krogan's coronavirus research group, looking not only at the proteins of the SARS-CoV-2 virus, but at the human cell proteins with which they interact. The virus can't live by itself. It needs our genes and proteins to live in and replicate and infect us, Dr. Krogan explained. Working with collaborators, including several based in the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai and Hospital in New York City, they found reason to pursue one protein in particular. The virus hijacks it and makes its own proteins. Anyways, like I said, I could go on, and you guys probably don't need to hear all about these intricacies. It's very interesting if you want to read up more on this, the sea squirt.
Interesting.
I just think it's
And
fascinating. And
it is fascinating. I'm not joking. Did you think I was being facetious? I'm not. Now, here's
no.
where I will become Dana again and say, can we trade our Joshua trees for that?
For sea squirts,
Uh-huh.
they cannot live in the same environment, so I'm afraid that's not going to work.
I tried. That was really cool.
It is cool. Little sea squirt.
Little sea squirt. Little sea squirt. Okay, so I'm up first with raves. Let's get to our raves. This is exciting. This is from a listener, Mary Margaret. Hi, ladies. I am finally getting the time to send you a rave in all caps. My dear friend and former coworker, Peyton Gwynn, founded Byrdie's Buddies, a charity organization / nonprofit dedicated to bettering and saving the lives of shelter and military animals. Amazing. She works countless hours volunteering at shelters, collecting donations, linens, etc. for animals in shelter. Last year, she found sponsors for every dog at our local shelter. Oh my gosh. Each dog had their individual stocking stuffed with goodies. Bird is the chunky monkey mascot that amuses Peyton and lets her dress her up. Check out Byrdie's Buddies on Facebook or Instagram at Byrdie's Buddies. So that's BYRDIES, Byrdie's Buddies, to see all of the amazing events, organizations, and animals and people Peyton touches through Byrdie's Buddies. I love that so much. Speaking of animals, you have a doggy going crazy over there.
Yeah. Did you hear the
The Pom?
I was about to say Pomeranian. It's not the Pomeranian. It's the other one that I don't know what it is. It's a female dog and has a goatee.
Oh, I saw that one when I was at your house. But it's not just, I thought you meant just like a little wispies, like Lucy
No,
gets a little
it's like the
beard.
billy goat scruff.
It's billy goats. It is long. It is very well maintained.
And it's a choice.
Brushed and
It's a
very
choice
yes, it's
of the owner, not the dog. The dog has
Right.
no choice in the matter, I assure you.
I love Byrdie's Buddies. You know, I follow another organization that I think we actually did profile a couple of when we first started out, called Bunny's Buddies. And that's
Hmm.
for Bunny's Buddies tries to find homes for dogs. It's usually dogs, and they have pilots that volunteer. But I had never, the thing that caught my eye about this story is saving the lives of shelter and military animals. Do you
Yeah,
know that it never has crossed my mind that military animals would ever need homes
I
or
know.
like, I don't know why
I
I
know.
would think that they just have a place to live and people to take care. I don't know why I would think that,
Right.
but I would imagine that that's a bigger issue than we realize. So I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Mary, for sending this to us. Please check them out. You can find them again on Facebook or Instagram at Birdie's Buddies to see all their events and the organization and animals. And maybe that's something you want to partake in or start something like that around your neighborhood. I
Yeah.
have no doubt that her friend has committed her life to this. Like
Yep.
people who do this are just incredible, incredible human
Exactly.
souls. So anyway, check them out, guys. I really love that. Thank you so much for sending this in. We say to you guys all the time, and it's the truth. If you know of a small organization
Hmm.
or just a person helping someone else out, we are happy to get that information out there. And if our
Exactly.
listeners can't participate or can't be involved, it might inspire them to start something in their area. So again, thank
Hmm.
you for sending that. I love it. Thank you for helping out all the animals, birdies, buddies.
Yes, thank you so much. Okay, this is a rave that is something that my cousin Zach on the East Coast posted, and I was like, "Oh, I've never heard of this company," and I didn't know what they did, and so it really piqued my interest. And it happens to have been Holocaust Remembrance Day last week.
Last week, yeah.
So, kind of kismet to talk about this. So, the company is called Summit Ice Apparel. Founded in 2015 in Los Angeles, Summit Ice is a not for profit company dedicated to producing quality outdoor apparel and raising awareness of the Holocaust. 100% of the profits go to the Vancouver Holocaust Education Center in Vancouver, Canada, and other organizations that work to fight intolerance. Summit Ice Apparel founder Nathan Fielder will return to his hometown of Vancouver, BC to donate 150,000 US dollars of Summit Ice profits to the board of the Vancouver Holocaust Education Center, an acclaimed teaching museum devoted to Holocaust based anti racism education. Summit Ice Apparel was founded in 2015 when Mr. Fielder became aware that his favorite jacket company, the Vancouver based Taiga, Taiga, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, had published a tribute to Holocaust denier Doug Collins in one of their winter catalogs. Mr. Fielder immediately recognized a need in the marketplace for an outdoor apparel company that openly promoted the true story of the Holocaust. To accomplish its mission, Summit Ice proudly selected the Vancouver Holocaust Education Center to be the sole recipient of its profits, benefiting Holocaust education in Western Canada. This unselfish donation from Summit Ice will provide the VHEC resources to further its mission to promote human rights, social justice, and genocide awareness through education and remembrance of the Holocaust. To learn more about the VHEC, please visit vhec.org. So Nathan Fielder, I'm like, I don't think the name sounded too familiar. Then I looked at his picture and I'm like, oh my God. So Nathan Fielder, who started this company, is a
Yeah.
comic and a writer. And I don't know if you ever saw it, but he had a delightfully awkward show called Nathan for You. Did
Yeah,
you ever
about
see that?
animals or something?
This is his company. No, it was a weird sketch show, not even sketch. He just like posed as different people. Like
Okay.
he went and interviewed a guy who played a mall Santa, but he
Oh,
pretends like he's someone else. Oh my God, I'm going to do a horrible job
I
of it.
know
It
it.
was on Comedy Central, a real awkward, but hilarious. I mean, it's supposed to be awkward, a hilariously awkward show. Okay. He's an oddball. He's from Canada. He's young. He's a writer and a comic.
Uh-huh.
But I was like, oh, how cool. I didn't realize that it was him that started this company. But I think this was very interesting in how this got started that a rival company and a company in the area and from his hometown posted something that would be like somebody honoring somebody in the clan or something. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I love that his way to counteract that was to start a company that did the exact opposite.
Yes. Yeah.
And again, like most places or museums that are dealing with this, any of the centers against racism and anti Semitism and all this kind of stuff, the Museum of Tolerance in Los Angeles is incredible. And
Mhm.
it's obviously has a huge focus on the Holocaust, but they have other issues there. They have an incredible bookstore filled with things and about all different causes. I just think it's so sad but so important that we still have to talk about this kind of stuff, and that there's
Absolutely.
still people that deny facts, just facts
That it
about
yeah,
history.
that
um
it's even happened, and yeah,
it's crazy
it's
town.
crazy.
Coming from someone who, like, I have family that escaped the Holocaust. I have family that was in the Holocaust.
Well, I was gonna say that's another thing too, I think because we learned about it as children, for me, somehow, I think for a long time, especially I grew up in a community that didn't have a lot of Jewish people,
Mhm,
I feel like it seemed like, "Yeah, but that was so long ago." Well, when on Martin Luther King Day, somebody posted it was a meme or something that
mhm,
somebody had made. There wasn't really a big age difference between Martin Luther King and Anne Frank. And that,
mhm.
like, kinda shook me and started making me kinda do some math, like, these things were not that long ago.
Right.
We know people who were in these
Yes.
situations.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really crazy, and you know what? This is just a weird little tie-in. I don't think I've ever mentioned this, but you just said Martin Luther King, and we're talking about, Holocaust awareness. And my dad recently this came up, we were talking about, like, old stuff from, like, Montreal and when my dad was growing up, and I don't know how in the world we got on this to this point, but my dad was active in his synagogue as a young man, and he
Mhm.
taught Sunday school when he got, or he actually didn't teach Sunday. He did confirmation for like the teenagers. He worked with like
Mm, mhm.
teenage kids. My dad was very close with his rabbi, who was a very famous rabbi in Montreal. And he was kind of controversial because he was starting to bring interfaith things around. Like his name was Rabbi Stern. He had either a cardinal or a bishop from the Catholic Church. I mean, Quebec is a very Catholic province. There was a cardinal or a bishop that sat on the board of my family's synagogue. He taught there. He was like an advisor. I think that's amazing, right? So it was already controversial. My dad said, "You don't get it." In the 50s and 60s, Rabbi Stern bringing Catholics in with Jews. I'm getting to my point of this. My dad just dropped very casually that Martin Luther King was the visiting guest at their synagogue during the weekend of and the actual service of my father's bar mitzvah.
Oh my god.
Martin Luther King Jr. was sitting on, in Judaism, we call it the bema. It's like the area around the Torah that's up, and the rabbi would stand in the middle, just like where a
Right,
priest or a preacher stands to give their
right.
sermon. Martin Luther King was sitting up there.
Oh my
I
god.
lost my mind. I'm like, "Dad, that's like the coolest thing ever.
How have
How
you
have you
never
just
told me
never
that?
told me
I
that?"
know!
Because I mean, I realize that's a big he goes, "I wasn't really thinking about it, I guess." I'm like, "I can't with you." But how
That's
cool is
amazing.
that?
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool that, again, back then, I mean, it's that they were willing to be like, "Well, I
Yes.
don't care what people think about this. We're gonna
Yeah.
have people of different race and different religion in here, and we're gonna all talk." And I think it's
Lovely.
awesome. Yeah.
That's really, really cool. Like, I've said before, I grew up Christian. I have, still I have a lot of those moral beliefs or
Mhm.
ethical whatever, and I would consider myself a spiritual person, but
Mhm.
there came a time in my life where I got really interested in some of the I don't know, some of the more well-known tenets of Buddhism.
Mhm.
That's when I started questioning eating meat, when I would start reading
Yeah.
some Thich Nhat
Sure.
Hanh, which one of our
Yep.
friends just recently bought a bunch of books, and I was like, "Where did you get those?" 'Cause it's a whole series.
Yeah.
I hit her up immediately, but
Mhm.
because I like some of those belief systems, and even though it wasn't the belief system I was raised with, I can still have my own I can put my own stamp on that, and it's
Mhm.
not out of convenience for me, it's things that I actually do struggle with, like eating meat. I was like, "I'll never quit eating meat. I don't care how bad I feel, like, that's just who I am," right? And then I started reading some of these tenets about being careful what you put in your body as far as food and what you consume with your eyes and what you consume with your
Mhm.
ears and staying completely healthy and all of that is what started me on this, what is it now?
Yep.
10-year journey of getting to where I'm like, I might have to stop eating meat. Now, am I a slow mover? For sure. But yeah, I think that's really amazing that he was at a synagogue that was open to that, with a
Right?
leader that was open to bringing other faiths in
Yes.
and working as a community in some ways. That's really
Exactly.
amazing.
Yep.
I love it.
I do too.
And I love that organization, and I love that a comedian did it because sometimes the
Yes.
comedians get not always it sometimes it's true that we can be rather surly
Mhm.
or sarcastic, a little
Uh-huh.
sardonic. I love that he took something that could have been yucky and made it into something beautiful.
Mhm.
I
You
really
know
love
who's wearing his jacket? There's a picture of somebody wearing a jacket on the website. Jack Black.
Interesting.
One of my favorite people to follow on social media if you just want joy and laughter.
He's so funny.
He's
So
never not gonna be funny. I love him. He's
so funny. I love it. When
so
this is how old I'm getting. When you said, "Do you know who's wearing his jacket?" I was like, "What is she trying to ask me who he's dating?" I don't know.
Do you know who's wearing his Letterman jacket?
In my defense, I have watched
He's a
both
varsity
and
wrestler.
and Grease 2 in the last month. So
You watched Grease too and let me know?
Oh, I did. I took pictures. I can send them to you if I want.
I said and didn't let me know.
I know. I can send them to you if you want me to. Sorry. It's what somebody just posted my friend Mary Jo Greer just posted a picture of Grease 2 and said, "Grease 2 is the best Grease. Fight me."
And every single song is
Love
about
it.
sex.
Yeah. My mom would make us fast forward through 2 of the best
Reproduction.
ones. Reproduction and also "Do It for Your
Our
Country."
country, the
Yeah.
red, white, and the blue.
Blue. Yeah.
It's Uncle Sam who's asking, your parents will
Will I
approve.
approve? Yep.
It's so inappropriate in a bomb shelter.
Yeah.
What about the
Also
bowling alley? We're gonna score tonight?
yeah, come on. Yeah. And then all those girls up on guys' shoulders with their crotches in their face. Yeah, they knew what they were doing. Also, they're all 45 and in high school.
Yes, they are.
I wish it worked that way now. Maybe I could get a job.
Okay. What about some of the jokes that were dropped that when we were kids, it was like, huh? And now you're like, oh, excuse me? When she's like, Miss McGee, yes, dear. I'm a little worried. I've missed my last 2 periods. That's okay, dear. You can make them up after school.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then you hear, where does the pollen go? Doing.
Whoop. Yep. Yeah, for sure.
I
Yeah,
can't.
and the hairspray teacher with the sexy low cut shirt,
Oh, yeah.
who has the hots for,
Donnie.
well, he has the hots for her, but the teacher has the hots for
Oh,
Tally
yeah.
Hunter.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Now we're just talking out Grease too. We're literally at the end of our show, just Jessica and Dana talking about, but honestly, the lead guy, what is he, British or Australian or something? His
Michael
eyeball.
Carrington. I don't know
Oh,
his real name.
his
Oh,
eye.
Maxwell Caulfield.
You have to start learning other things besides that man's name. I don't know what use that has, and I don't know why it's living in your brain. That is the most
He sings the worst, most boring
ridiculous.
part of the movie.
You're
It's
gonna
that
say charade, and that was my mama's favorite because that's where he draws hearts and he's looking down and then only with his eyeballs lifts his eyeballs up into the light while he's drawing hearts. And my mama said, "Oh, look at those baby blues." And a guy on a
My
motorcycle. I
apologies.
mean, come on, a guy on a motorcycle. Num 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 num.
Also, real quick, just a slight addendum. Um, Michelle Pfeiffer, is there ever been an actress that can look back at what they looked like 40 years ago and normally people would look dated or everybody else in that movie looks like
No.
women
Yeah.
trying to be fakely put as teenagers in the 60s? Michelle Pfeiffer is so hot in that
Yeah,
movie.
for real.
Like
And her
drop
outfits,
dead. Beyond.
I would
It
wear her outfits today.
today.
Yeah.
It's like
If I had the body for it. Yeah.
I mean, It's dumb.
She's stunning in that. Like, I don't even care that she can't dance. It's very
No.
obvious, like Olivia Newton-John and Xanadu. It is very obvious that Michelle Pfeiffer can't dance. Don't care.
Is it the Christmas tree costume at the end that did it for you? I'll be yours in winter.
Turn back. Okay, so we sang two different songs because it's of the same thing. So like they're doing a performance.
Yes.
I'll be yours in winter
When the snow is on the ground.
ground. Well, but Michelle Pfeiffer, she gets so upset because she thinks Michael has been
Yes.
run off a
That's
cliff
right. That's
into
right.
a quarry and
Yep.
he's dead. And so in the middle of the talent show, she starts singing, turn
I'm
back,
back.
turn
Turn back.
back. The hands of time will turn back.
And they have to come and collect her and carry her off stage.
Yeah, and
They don't carry her, but they whisk her away.
she has like this vision, like she ate that
Yes.
cactus. What's
Yeah.
that cactus called?
Peyote.
Yeah, like she just had peyote. She's talking to Michael and she's like, "But Michael, just when I found you, I lost you." Literally, we've been talking about this for 15 minutes straight. I'm going to end the
I'm crying.
It is
Okay.
pitch black outside and all of my blinds are open and I am hunched over my microphone with the computer just like a spotlight on my head, dancing and singing Grease 2.
Lord have mercy.
Jessica,
Okay.
I think that's our show.
I think it is. What is Henry getting for dinner tonight? Ain't nothing but a hot dog.
No, he's having something redonkulous. Oh, Jessica, I adore you.
I adore you. Thank you for some amazing laughter as always.
And thank you to our listeners who sent stuff in.
Yes.
Jessica, you should tell people how to get a hold of us. We love it.
Yes, please find us on Instagram and Facebook at the Rants and Raves Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at Raves_the. You can also email us at the Rants and Raves Podcast at gmail.com or hit the contact button on our website, www.therantsandраvespodcast.com.
Yay!
Yes.
I always like to end the show with a point to ponder or talk about something I'm really into right now. I mean, I'm not going to bore you guys. I'm really into plants. All of a sudden, I know a ton about plants, which is weird, and I'm not going to force you to listen to that. Also, I did start watching The Great on Hulu with the young fan. I almost said Fanny. The young
Dakota Fanning?
Yes, the young Fanning, the young one. Not Eloise.
Not Dakota. That's the older one. I don't know. Elle Fanning. Okay.
Elle Fanning is the lead, and then Nicholas Hoult is is Peter the Great's son.
Okay.
And it is one of those genres, royal family in Russia, whatever. So she marries the ambassador of Russia. It is fascinating from a daily life sort of thing. The costumes are amazing. The actors are great. They are all terrible people. I used to love Nicholas Hoult, and I'm like, you're so gross. That's how good he is in this show.
Because the characters. Ooh, I want to watch it.
It's a comedy too. Like it is actually pretty funny. So anyway, I've been enjoying that. And then I'm just going to give you a fact. I like to give you a point to ponder, something to think about. If you need to write into us about it, that's fine. This time, I'm just going to say, well, let me read you the fact first. If you got into your car, turned on the ignition, and drove up to the sky at 60 miles an hour, okay, if this were possible, it would take just 1 hour to get to outer space. This is according to astronomer Fred Hoyle. Obviously, it's theoretical, but it's fun to think about. So, and 1 hour, you guys, we can get to outer space. I'll drive because I just got gas for the first time in like 5 months. So I have a full tank and I haven't been anywhere. So my car's ready to go. Okay. So let's low key get out of here, everybody, and just see what space holds. I can fit probably 6 of us in my car. It's only a 1 hour trip. Get over yourself. All right, guys, we'll be back next week, I hope.
On this planet.
On this planet. I love you, Jessica.
I love you.
Okay, bye.